Yeah, when Shannon Sharpe, like, because I really went hard in my interviews when Shannon Sharpe claimed that he made more money from that one interview than his whole football career, any year in his football career.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking. You say that's cap?
No, it's bullshit. Absolute bullshit. It's a lie. And the problem with throwing these kind of lies out into the world.
The kids believe it. They believe it.
They believe it. So, recently, and I've talked about this, with Ari Spears, we reached out to Marlon Wayans to do an interview, right? They came back with $40,000 plus 30% of the revenue. And I'm like, this is retarded. Like, I had to like talk shit to him. Like, me and him got into a whole back and forth. Like, I'm like, no one in the world is going to pay you this, Marlon Wayans. I don't know if you're drinking this Kool-Aid that Shannon Sharpe is pouring out to the world. No one's going to pay you for this. There's not a single human being on earth that will pay you $40,000, much less an extra 30% on top of it. Like you're insane. You're absolutely insane to think this. And that's the problem when you throw out these crazy numbers. They're like, well, I'm almost as big as Cat Williams. I guess if he got $1 million, 40,000 is fair.
Jay has an underrated line on one of the songs we did with Drake. He said something about people know the price of everything, but the value of nothing.
Exactly.
The kids don't even understand. Anything sounds real to them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Vlad made $17 million last night doing this. Like, they don't know. They know what everything is, and the money. They have no real context with things, right? Like, what's the most Marlon Wayans ever got paid to even do an interview? If you ever got paid to do an interview, let alone 40. How do you land on that number? Like, it's just it's crazy.
Yeah. Meanwhile, he's doing interviews for free
on his radio run, every morning show.
On Drink Champs, on Big Boy, on Breakfast Club, but I get charged $40,000. You know what I mean? It's dumb. Well, and I remember. So I remember when you were on Drink Champs, you had mentioned, my relationship with Tony Yayo, and you said how Tony Yayo gets paid to do my interviews, which is absolutely true, 100%.
You said that you boozy, like you had to hire certain people to,
all my regular guests get paid.
Yeah, exactly.
The people you see all the time, as well as certain other guests and everything else like that. And you said you've never paid anyone. And that's cool.
I haven't. But I'm not looking down on somebody that does. If it's fair business, it's fair business.
Listen, and I remember, me and Robin from Baller Alert, she basically said that I fucked up the game by doing that. Because I think I was the first person, at least in hip-hop, to say, I'm going to start paying for interviews. Before then, it was a big no-no, journalistic integrity, whatever. I was the first person to do it. But at the end of the day, you have to look at it as a business, right?
Same thing what I'm saying with, if you do a Drake, it's a collaboration with Drake.
It's everything. You're not just
going to get a Drake and everything goes in your way. Yes.
Have other people gotten Boosie interviews for free? I'm sure they have.
Yeah.
Has anyone done more interviews with Boosie than me? No, because I pay him.
Yes.
But
Boosie delivers, too.
And he delivers.
Yayo delivers.
Right.
Somebody was saying I watch every Tony Yayo interview.
So, you may have gotten that one Boosie interview, and you got to keep 100% of the profit. In the meantime, I've done 30 interviews with Boosie and made 50 times what you made. You know what I mean? And also, he got paid in the process. So everyone's happy. Yeah. And you have a certain level, people are much more likely not to cancel when they know there's a check.
Yeah. There was that old journalism thing where you can't do it. I think the first one I had dealt with that was Nicki Minaj when I did The Crown. And she wanted the first Crown I did with her, like 2017, around the same time. And she wanted final approval. And I would never give nobody final approval, but it's Nicki Minaj. So, and my also thing was too, is like, I'm already getting the live experience with you where you can't edit that. Like whatever happened live, that audience that paid money to watch that. And then I remember I gave her the thing video, she had no changes. So I'm like, great, made me feel good. Like, so at a certain point you realize now with these stars at a certain level or people that you're strategically working with because you know they're great interviews and they're going to deliver you the views that you want.
You have to be flexible.
You got to do business.
You got to be flexible and it has to make business sense.
Absolutely.
Would I pay Marlon Wayans $40,000 for an interview? Absolutely fucking not.
Yo, Marlon, I'm sorry, baby. I love you. I saw him the other day.
Hey, man, listen, it is what it is. I actually gave him a reasonable offer and he was like, no thanks. I'm like, oh, okay, you really wanted that 40. Because of course he's trying to blame it on the person that we were dealing with. And I'm like, I'm talking to you right now.
15? You offered 15?
I offered him 5. He said no thanks.
That is tough, man.
5, but you know what I said? But here's the way
10. I think
here's the way I justified it. I said, Marlon, when you look at your last year of interviews on Breakfast Club, Big Boy, whatever.
You pull the views out on them?
You pull in about 300,000 views. Now, I know with me, I could pull out a little more than that based on who I am, and the way I conduct things. But you're not Cat Williams. You're not going to pull in 10 million views where you have a lot of interviews and the numbers speak for themselves. Yes, you have a few interviews years ago that are a little bit bigger, but you pull in about 300,000 views. So 5,000 is actually generous. You know what I'm saying? And you can't say, oh, it's this or that. Like, when I did Breakfast Club, I did more than twice the numbers that you did.
Wow.
Me. No movies, no stand-ups, whatever. I'll do like 800,000 on the Breakfast Club.
Wow.
So I know what I'm talking about here.
Yeah.
I'm giving you a reasonable offer.
Value. Yeah.
You feel your head's in the clouds. You don't know how this works. So I'm gonna turn this into content. You know what I'm saying? Don't fuck with me. Like I don't get even. I turn it into content. That's how I look at shit. Like if you want to give me a viral moment, I'll take it. I'll take it because you're bugging right now. You're absolutely bugging. 40,000 plus 30%.
30% is crazy.
Plus 30%.
That's why I act like they're gonna pay for it.
I've never had anyone. Now listen, like I remember, I did an interview with 2 Chainz, and the understanding was they had sampled something from my interview to use on their album. And there was
Vlad TV.
That song Vlad TV, but I didn't hear it yet. After the interview, they played it for me, and I'm like, oh, this just is sort of clowning me. Like the way they're using it is making me sound bad, so I'm good. I'm not going to clear it, and I'm just going to put the interview aside. Then at one point, I said, you know something? We still have this interview. How about if I just cut you a check to do the interview? And they're like, well, we don't want the check, but we'll take 50% of the revenue from the interview. And I said, that's actually a very fair offer, but we're not set up on the finance side of things to do that.
For a specific interview.
For a specific interview. We just don't have the manpower to be cutting these checks. So it's a fair offer. I'm not saying it's not, but we just can't do it. But 40,000 plus 30%? It's fucking insane. It's fucking insane. It's a detachment from reality. Marlon, I know you're going to see this. I'm going to send it to you. I got your number.
He has an amazing publicist, too. Shout out to her.